Hi friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Dr. Sneha Ando. So today we are going to see the second part of the respiratory illness. So in here I've little bit elaborated about the common cold and what are the causative agents and what are the conditions resulting to it and about the virus and what does the human cell do, all those things. Okay, and in this I've explained about the COVID-19 also, but because of the time constraint thing I've split up that COVID-19 into another different video. So that link has been given in the description. Please go to the description and you can look into it. Okay, now we'll see what is common cold. So we all know common cold is nothing but it's in a viral infection and it mostly affects the upper respiratory tract or upper respiratory system. And it is also known as the acute viral rhinopharyngitis or acute chorea. There are almost 200 different types of or different viruses which is responsible to give you the common cold, but the most common are the rhino and the coronavirus. And other viruses also are there, but when you see the percentage wise, rhino and the corona is the most leading one. The other viruses you can see are the human parainfluenza virus, human metapneumonia virus, enterovirus or coronavirus, adenovirus, and human respiratory syncytial virus. So these are all the other different types of virus which also might be the reason to cause you the common cold. Okay, so before moving forward regarding the causative agents, we'll see what does a virus do to our cell. Okay, so that's what we are going to see in this slide. So first, you all know we have a mucus lining in the nasal region, in the ear, and in the vaginal area. So why we have this mucus lining or the mucus? It actually tries to protect the place from the infection, from the bacterial or from the dust or any allergens which is trying to penetrate towards the body. Okay, so that is what the mucus preliminary role is. So what does the virus does? Virus try to attack the mucus lining and try to penetrate towards the mucus layer. So once when it tries to penetrate towards the mucus layer, it goes and try to bind to the specific receptor in the cells. Once it binds to the specific receptor in the cell, then it enters to the cell. Once it enters to the cell, what it does, it tries to release the genetic materials. Once the genetic material is released into the cell, what it happens, it tries to replicate or reproduce and produce numerous amount of the virus in the particular cell. Once it tries to do that, then it tries to take the power of the particular cell and it becomes the king of the cell. Once it becomes the supreme power for the particular cell or particular host cell, then it tries to spread out its kingdom or try to invade the other neighboring cells. Okay, so that is what the next thing which they does, and they try to expand the viral kingdom to the complete host cell. That's what they do. Okay, so you're clear, I think so. So what first it does, first virus try to penetrate through the mucus layer. Once it try to penetrate to the mucus layer, it try to stick to the specific receptors. Once it sticks to the specific receptor, what it does, it tries to enter to the cells. Once it tries to enter to the cell, it tries to break down the capsid and release the genetic material if it's RNA or DNA, and it try to replicate and reproduce in the specific host cell of the human body. And once it try to replicate and produce numerous virus, it tries to take the overall power of the particular host cell and becomes a king. Once it becomes a king of the particular host cell, then it tries to invade, and invasion starts and try to spread out the kingdom, causing the infection to the spreading the infection to the various cells of the human body. Fine. So this is what the virus do. So what does our human body cell do when there is any invasion? That's what we are going to see. So one, a human body is being attacked with any foreign substance, there are four main police force in our body trying to fight against it. Okay, the first is a cytotoxic T cell, second is a natural killer cell, third is an interferon, fourth is the antibodies. Okay, so what does the first cytotoxic T cell do? Okay, it's actually a police force keep on roaming around the streets or same similar way. It also keep on rotating or roaming around the body. Okay, and try to see if there is anything wrong in the cell. So that's what the cytotoxic T cell does. So once when it keeps on roaming and it is finding out, okay, there's a virus which is there. So once the if it's able to find out there's something wrong and there is some foreign invasion is there, then cytotoxic T cells try to trigger the cytotoxin from that and try to attack the virus. Once if this virus is escaped from this T cells or T cytotoxin, then the second main player will come to the role. That is called as natural killer cell. Even here, what does it do? Sometimes the virus goes and hides somewhere. So if the virus is not visible also, what does the natural killer cell do is it try to see, okay, let me see the number of the receptors which is there on the cell. If the number of the receptors in the cell is less, then the natural killer cell know, okay, really something is wrong over here, and try to releases the enzymes and try to attack the virus. Okay, and once this virus is entered inside the cell, then normally there are interferons which is present in the cell. So once the virus is entered into the cell, interferons tries to attack the virus. Okay, but if the virus has more supreme power compared to the interferons, and then the number of the interferons in the cell is reduced. Once this interferons number is reduced in the cell, then the next player will come, the main player, antibodies. So once the number of interferons is reduced, then antibodies will come over there and tries to attach all the virus together and forms an agglutination process and try to kill the particular virus. Okay, so this is what the four major cell or four major mechanism what the human cell do when there is an invasion or when there is any foreign body which is entering to our human system. Okay, so I hope you are clear about what does a virus do, what does a human cell do in regarding with it. Next, we are going to see about the symptoms and what are the complications which is related to the common cold. So the common symptoms we all know, right? You'll be having mild fever, maybe you'll be having a sneezing, you'll be having cough, maybe a blocked nose, mild headache, or sore throat, or dry throat, anything. And if your immune system is a bit more low, then you might be having other symptoms like shivering, maybe you'll feel exhausted and muscle ache, weakness, so reduction in appetite. So all these things will be leading. Okay, so this all can be in this stage it can be actually treated with some home remedies, and maybe any immune boosters can be added to try to boost up your immune system. So in this way you will be able to protect yourself or try to fight against the virus. But there are some complications which results with the common cold. This is mainly if the patient or if the person is immune suppressant patients, then this complication will be there. Or if the person is above 65, or if there is the children below 5 years, then this kind of complication will be there. But this kind of complication is mainly not only with the common cold virus, along with if there is any secondary infection, this complication will be there. So what are the different complication will be there are acute bronchitis you'll be having, maybe pneumonia or chronic kind of pneumonia you'll be having, asthma, acute bacterial sinusitis, and all this kind of complication which will be resulted. So this complication, if there means if there is any secondary inflammation, the upper respiratory system is being infected, then it passes to the lower respiratory system. In this cases, if it's a secondary infection related to the bacteria, then you need to take proper antibodies, proper rest, and maybe you need to be kept in a proper ventilator or ICU. All those things will be there. Okay, so this is what the symptoms and the complication which might result if there is a immune system is low in your human system. Okay, next we are going to see about the prevention and the treatment. As of for now, there is no cure or no treatment, no vaccine available for the common cold. Okay, but there are prevention which you can do, preventive steps you can take care so that you can try to avoid the common cold or the virus affecting you. Okay, so what is the first thing? Try to wash your hands with soap or maybe sanitizers. Okay, and try to avoid touching your face, especially your T zones, and don't smoke. Okay, and try to use a face mask. To some extent it actually protects you from this viral infection. And maybe try to keep your household items clean, and if there any patients or if any person in your family member is affected with a cold, try to use a separate vessels for them or separate container. In that way you can restrict the passage of the cold or the virus from one person to another. And try to use a disposable tissue, so use it and throw it in a proper dustbin, so you don't need to spread into the different parts of your home. Okay, and next main thing is try to maintain healthy diet. Try to take in lot of fluids. Okay, lots of fruits. In that way you can try to improve your immune system. And maybe you can take some immune booster supplements such as vitamin C and the zinc tablets. So these are all the things which you can do actually to try to boost up your immune system. And along with it, especially if you're Indian, you might be seeing the some of the home remedies which you take, right? Mostly our mothers or granny used to give you. You have any cold or so, turmeric milk, or maybe a tea prepared from the dry ginger, pepper, and salt. So these are all the some of the other ingredients which you have in your home, which helps you to improve your immune system. So try to use that in your home if you're having any cold or any viral infection. This is actually really helpful for you. Okay, now before moving on to the causative agents, we'll see a small idea about the history behind it. So in 1950 only they were able to find out, okay, there's a causative agent, especially virus is a causative agent which is responsible for this common cold. Okay, but before 16th century, before BC around, in Egyptian Eber papyrus described about the symptoms and what are the treatment which is available. This was before the 16th century. Okay, and during the 16th century only this terminology cold was coined. Okay, and it was done by two great scientists. So that is was there. The next one is in and if related to the common cold and all, the first unit which was started in 1946 in UK, and that was a place where there's a lot of researchers related to the common cold started. And 1950 they were able to find out that the rhinovirus is the most prominent virus which is causing this cold. Okay, and in 1970 they tried to do some research regarding with interferons in the treatment of the rhinovirus infections and the common cold. And by 1989 also this unit was closed after the production of the zinc gluconate. Zinc gluconate is nothing but in a supplement which can be given or can be taken for the immune system boosting up. And next, it is also believed this common cold, the virus which has been passed on to the human system now, for regarding with the cold, is actually believed to come from the birds. So there was some mutation which happened in the birds, and that mutation has made the virus escape from the bird to the human system. Okay, and only in 1960 they were able to find out that a human coronavirus is also responsible for causing this common cold symptoms. Fine, so this is just a small history about the common cold. Now we'll see about the causative agent, what is it, and we'll see what is the infection it is causing. The first one we are going to see is a human rhinovirus. So human rhinovirus, the main thing which it does is try to cause an inflammation in the nasal mucosa area. Okay, that is what the first thing which it does. So it belongs to the Pyconoviridae family, and there are almost 100 different types of viruses are there. Okay, so the unique feature of the rhinovirus, human rhinovirus, that's what we are going to see. First, it is naked and it has an icosahedral capsid, and it don't have any lipid membrane, and the main thing which you need to look is it is single stranded RNA, and so it is acid labels. That means it will be not able to survive in the acid, so that is a good thing because it will be not able to pass on to the gastric thing and affects the other organs. So that is one of the positive thing. The next is the main thing over here is, as I mentioned before, rhinovirus actually affect the epithelial cell of the mucosal area in the respiratory region. Once it affects the epithelial cell, what it does is it tries to release the pro-inflammatory proteins. Once this pro-inflammatory proteins is released, then it triggers our immune system, human's immune system. What does the human immune system do? All the cells which I told you before, this all will come to that particular place. When the all the immune system is aggregating in the particular place, that results in the inflammation of the local area. So that is what the thing which the rhinovirus does. It tries to cause the inflammation in the nasal mucosal layer. So that results in the lot of the symptoms which we have discussed before. Got it? So this is what about the human rhinovirus. Next, we are going to see about the human coronavirus. It is almost similar to the rhinovirus, but there are some unique features for the corona also. So if you see, it is also a viral infectious disease. It belongs to the coronavirus family, and there are almost 100 different types of coronaviruses there, and in that only the 7 is commonly affect the humans. Okay, and this is also an RNA type virus, single stranded RNA, and it also has a positive sense. And this virus is an enveloped one, and it has two spikes, different spikes as around it. Okay, and it is almost like a club shape, and the name corona was given because of the shape of the spikes which is there. It almost looked like a crown shape. That's why the name corona has been termed for this type of virus. Okay, so mostly this type of coronavirus causes mild infection, but to some cases only it has been given the lethal status. Okay, so the lethal conditions of the coronavirus was SARS, that means severe acute respiratory syndrome. Next one is MERS. MERS is nothing but Middle East Respiratory Syndrome, and the COVID-19 is nothing but is a similar thing of SARS, but the stain of it is little bit different for the COVID-19. That is why it is called as novel COVID-19 or novel coronavirus strain. Okay, so there were a lot of pandemic outbreaks was there related to the coronavirus. One was SARS-CoV in 2003, and HCoV NL63 in 2004, and HCoV HKU1 in 2005, and MERS-CoV in 2012, and SARS-CoV-2 in 2019. That's what the thing which you are facing right now. So what are the symptoms over here in the corona? It also has the similar kind of symptoms for the common cold, but if there is any severe cases, then this all the other conditions which you can see. You can see fever, you can see pneumonia, bronchitis, sore throat, or maybe with the swollen adenoids. Okay, so this is a small or maybe a little bit elaborate thing about the corona or the rhinovirus. And about the COVID-19, you can see the link which is being given in the description, so it will be given the detailed explanation about the COVID. Please go and see to this. And if you do like this video, please click the like button and do subscribe our channel for the further videos. Thank you very much for listening.